All right, welcome in. It's Tuesday, June 30th. We've got 5 games on the first 5 board today. We're going to go over with you. We're going to start, of course, with the Cardinals, who are scuffling into Atlanta to face a Braves team that's also lost 4 of its last 5. You got the Pirates and the Phillies back in Philadelphia with Pittsburgh. I think they're still running around the bases after scoring 11 last night. You got the Twins in Houston after taking game 1 in that series. You got the Padres and the Cubs getting set to play another game with hurricane force winds at Wrigley. And the White Sox look to keep it rolling in Baltimore. Hey, it's Joe Raineri, WagerTalk.com. Let's dive in here as we're going to start with the Cardinals at the Braves. And we've got, again, 2 teams going through it right now in Atlanta. Both teams just 1-4 over their last 5, and the Braves are handing the ball to Martin Perez. Atlanta opened up around minus 150 on the first 5 money line, and that number, it's making Perez look better than what he actually is, because although his 3 ERA looks great on paper, well, the underlying numbers say Perez, he's been pitching more like a low 4 type of ERA pitcher. But the good news for him is he doesn't need to be elite tonight, because the Cards have been one of the worst lineups in baseball against left-handers over the last couple of weeks, actually near the bottom of the league. And St. Louis, they put up just 2 runs a game on average over the last 7 days. Newt Barr from not the only 2 bats really doing anything for St. Louis, but they have nothing else behind them getting it done. And they're going to send Matthew Liberatore on the mound with his 5.56 ERA, which tells us everything we need to know about him. Namely, he's terrible. And the underlying numbers back it up. Arizona got him for 6 earned last time out? But here's the catch. Atlanta is in the same boat as the Cardinals, because the Braves have also been bottom third against lefties, scoring just 2.6 runs on average over the last week. So we've got 2 cold offenses, 2 left-handers on the mound, and a Cardinals team that has been even worse against the lefties, especially on the road. The first 5 total opened up 5.5, and both of these offenses are struggling. So I'm going to focus on isolating the team totals here, especially the Cardinals on the road in their worst split. I'll look at the under 2.5 runs in the first 5 for the Cardinals. All right, we're going to head over to Philadelphia, and we're going to talk about the Pirates and the Phillies, game 2 of their set. And the Phillies just got embarrassed at home last night. The Pirates hung 11 on them. And now Philly hands the ball to Christopher Sanchez to settle things down a bit here. Sanchez comes in, 2.13 ERA, one of the best arms in the National League. And the underlying numbers pretty much confirm it. He misses a ton of bats. He barely walks anyone. His last outing was 5 earned against Washington. But that's not the trend here. Philadelphia opened around minus 260 on the money line in the first 5. That's down to about minus 240. And listen, Sanchez is an ace. He was great and unhittable in May. June has been a bit of a different story. But I am not interested in laying that kind of chalk in this spot. I think the better vehicle is letting the bats do the work here tonight, because Pittsburgh's running out with Bubba Chandler and his 4.42 ERA, which is about right. That's what he is, a mid to back end rotation arm. The problem with him is the walks. He's given up over 5 walks per 9 innings this season. That's not good, because he gets a Phillies lineup that's top 3 in baseball against right-handers over the last couple of weeks. Brandon Marsh has been stepping up now. You know what Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber are doing at the plate. Not to mention, Phillies have averaged 6.5 runs a game over the last week. And by the way, the wind at Citizens Bank Park tonight, blowing dead out to center field at 11 miles an hour. So we got an elite arm on one side. We got a Phillies lineup mashing it on the other. And we got a Pittsburgh starter who just gives away too much traffic on the base pass. So this is another one. I'm going to concentrate on the team total. Phillies, in fact, team total over 2.5 in the first 5. All right, we got a couple of more games that we're going to get to here, but I do want to invite you to smash that like button and hit the subscribe button, become part of that WagerTalk TV family. We are your one-stop shop for everything that is sports betting. After all, we got a lot going on here with the World Cup, obviously Major League Baseball, and don't forget, you got football. It'll be back here before you know it. So hit that like and hit that subscribe button, and let's get ready for the third first five game we're going to talk about here tonight, and that's the Twins and the Astros. Now, the Twins took game one in Houston last night, 5-4. They'll get another shot tonight at taking one against Mike Burrows. Now, Burrows sitting at around 5.5 on the ERA, and listen, I'm not treating that like bad luck because when you look at the underlying metrics, they're mixed. I mean, some of them give him a little more credit, but I think the bigger run prevention picture here is that, yeah, he's got an ugly ERA for a reason. And he's taking on a Minnesota team that is the second best lineup in baseball right now against right-handers, especially over the last couple of weeks. Brooks Lee has been on just crushing it. Caratini crushing it here. They've got some guys that can put some runs up here in a big, big way. In fact, nearly 5 a game over the last week is what they've been averaging. And by the way, that came against some really tough matchups. They got Joe Ryan going tonight here with his 3.18 ERA, which tells you everything you need to know about a typical Joe Ryan season in great form. He's missing a ton of bats at a high rate. His last outing, he did give up 4 earned, but that was against the Dodgers. The Dodgers are certainly not the Astros here. So even though he gave up 4 there, Houston's offense, middle of the pack, certainly against right-handers over the last couple of weeks. There's nothing that I'm looking at here that would push me off of Joe Ryan. Keep an eye on the roof here, though, in Houston, on whether it'll be open or closed here tonight. I do think it's going to be closed, but make sure. It is pretty windy in Houston right now, and I believe the wind would be blowing out if it is opened. Speaking of open, Minnesota opened around a minus 135 favorite in the first 5 money line. It's remained steady there for most of the day. It's certainly playable, but it's not cheap. And with the better arm and the better lineup here with Minnesota against a Houston starter I don't trust, I'd rather lay the half a run and get plus money in the first 5. So for me, I'll lay the half a run Twins on the first 5 run line at plus money there. All right, let's talk Padres and Cubs here because we've got 2 left-handers at Wrigley tonight. And once again, we've got hurricane winds at Wrigley, nearly 15 miles per hour, blowing straight out, hence the big total that you're seeing. And the Cubs have been the best lineup in baseball against left-handed pitching over the last couple of weeks. They finally turned it around. Dansby Swanson been red hot. Nico Horner also has been crushing it. Pete Crow Armstrong. Chicago's averaging over 6 runs a game over the last 7 days. And the Padres, well, they're rolling out J.P. Sears again, who's, I believe, making now just his second start of the season after being called up from the minors. And don't forget, he was a starter for the A's last season there, but he threw a lot of batting practice is what it felt like. But he had a really good first start. He wasn't terrible last week in his opening start for the Padres, but his underlying numbers tell me that, especially over his career, that he's basically a 5-something ERA arm. He's a 4 or 5 starter at best. And for San Diego, well, they're going to have to go up against Matthew Boyd. And don't let that 5 ERA scare you too much because the underlying numbers are also saying he's been better than that. Now, the catch is he's only got 6 starts this year, but only 2 starts recently after coming off the IL. And he wasn't terrible in either of those, but the Padres are also pretty good against lefties, especially recently. They're sitting in the top third of the league right now over the last 14 days. You've got Manny Machado finally starting to drive the ball. And you've got a Chicago team that opened up around minus 155 in the first 5. But I'm not looking to lay that when San Diego in this wind at Wrigley hits lefties just as well. And we've got, again, double-digit winds blowing dead out to center field. The first 5 total opened up at 6.5. And even with that kind of high number, both offenses, to me, can get there. So it would be a first 5 total over for me in Wrigley here tonight. All right, we got one more game that I want to get to. And before we do that, I do want to let you know it is $5 Tuesday over at WagerTalk.com. What does that mean? Well, that means best bets are $5 here. It's a great opportunity for you guys to check out and partner up with some of your favorite handicappers here and see what it's all about. I've got a 4% top play, locked, loaded, ready to go here tonight. You can head over to my page, wt.buzz/JR, and take advantage of it. For $5, go get it, guys. We cashed on our 4% top play last night. We took the over in Colorado with the Marlins and the Rockies, even with Sandy Alcantara on the mound, and that cashed easily. And we've got another one here tonight that I absolutely love. So for $5, guys, head over to my page, wt.buzz/JR. Take advantage of the opportunity, partner up here, and let's make it a profitable night. Speaking of profitable, if you've been backing the White Sox recently, my goodness, they are at the Orioles again. They put up 8 runs on Baltimore last night, all coming against the bullpen, by the way, in the 8th and 9th inning, and they just smacked the O's bullpen around. Now, tonight, Baltimore is going to hand the ball to Trey Gibson, 5.64 ERA. The underlying numbers, they all match. He's just that kind of pitcher. He's a bad starter, and the market knows it. And there's a question mark as far as who's going to go for Chicago. Now, they have Eric Fetty listed as the starter, but he's been pitching out of the bullpen as a bulk arm over the last month. In fact, he hasn't made a rotation start in nearly a month here. So I absolutely expect that the White Sox will go with an opener here tonight. But the truth is, Fetty hasn't been terrible in that role coming out of the bullpen for 4 innings here. Now, even with Fetty on the mound, it's Chicago's offense that is the part of this game that I trust the most, because their bats are top 10 in baseball, especially against right-handers over the last couple of weeks. They've scored 7 a game over the last 7 days. Miguel Vargas crushing it. Gonzalez also crushing it. Meredith also very productive here. Baltimore on the other end, they've been bottom 5 against right-handers over the last couple of weeks. In fact, they've been just about bottom 5 offensively against everybody, because they're only averaging about 3 runs a game over the last 7 days. In fact, they're 1-4 over their last 5 games. And the bats have been a big reason why. They have been quiet. They're mixing up the lineup. Nothing seems to happen. And yet, they opened up around a -140 favorite in the first 5. And that's not where I want to be with the worst arm and the worst offense. I'm going to take the White Sox. I'm going to take the half a run, by the way, on the first 5. Certainly reasonable enough at -120. The Orioles at this point, offensively, even against Eric Fetty, who has been better than most people realize, can't trust them at -120. White Sox on the run line in the first 5. And there you got it here, guys. We've got 5 games for you, all in the first 5. I certainly hope you guys like this content. I hope you guys like this first 5 information here, focusing mostly on the starters and the lineups, because the minute you bring bullpens into it, just ask the Orioles how well that went for them last night. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button. Become part of the Wager Talk TV family. And make sure you drop me a comment below. Tell me what's your favorite first 5 play on the board here tonight. We certainly appreciate you guys taking the time to hang with us. Visit my page for $5 Tuesday and go grab that best bet right now. $5 over at wt.buzz/JR. Appreciate it, guys. Have a great night. Cash those tickets and come back and join us again tomorrow for another edition of First 5 here on Wager Talk TV.